right, good morning. This is Joe Scarice, and welcome to the Creative Birth Strategy House and Podcast, co-founder and co-host of the great event every Saturday and Sunday morning. We got ourselves set up here for another great discussion of real estate education. Looking forward to another great discussion with our moderators and audience members as well. We're here again every Saturday and Sunday morning, 8 o'clock on Saturdays, and on Sundays, we're here at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, providing education, networking, and strategy. Love to thank our sponsors as always, because they're here for us with support and marketing and just spiritual support is just as good as the physical support sometimes. So I want to thank Mr. Yardell Perkins of Perkatech. He provides our social media strategy and architecture to our podcasting, our video work, my websites. Take a look at our websites. I got it posted up as well. He is just the Oz behind the drape, as I call him. And we had such a wonderful happy hour wine mixer this past Friday night. There's some pictures out there. We had a wonderful time. We're already talking about putting together a holiday party, so I'm excited about that. So it was just a great time of getting together with people, networking, making introductions, really truly the art of networking. Like there's a real truth to the art of networking. So I feel like we did that on Friday night. We were really very passionate about it. So he's a great sponsor of ours. I want to thank MB Capital, the unsecured business line of credit program that provides insight and unsecured business lines of credit for investors throughout the country, whether it's unsecured business credit lines and or credit cards in the commercial veil. Steve, please mute. Thank you. And then I would like to thank Miss Linda Pelagas, who provides national publication of Realty 411 throughout the country, as well as national events. I know she's got a big event coming up very soon in October in Los Angeles, the greater Los Angeles Real Estate Expo. So keep an eye out for that. See if you can make that if you're on the West Coast or travel in for the day. And then I'd like to thank Lendmark, where I'm a senior loan analyst, where we provide asset-based lending nationwide, DSCR 1 through 20 unit multifamily and or 1 through 4 single family to 4 family. We offer mixed use. We offer new construction, fixed to rent, fixed to flip, blanket loans, advisory, and strategy throughout the country. And if there's any questions, of course, my call to action to you is let's have a discussion in regards to your real estate portfolio or the soon-to-be real estate portfolio. So let's just catch up on a couple footnotes real quick. We have a great mastermind event Monday night at our offices at 17th and Snyder, the Creative Birth Strategy Mastermind. It's going to be set up like what we do here on Clubhouse. It'll be quite relevant. We will have subject matter in this scenario. Hang on one second. Here we got somebody that's let's block that gentleman. I hate our spammers, but we got to delete them first. Make sure they're gone. Bye. So we're there 6:30 to 8:30. It will be videoed. It will not be on Clubhouse. It's just a little too much going on with people physically there. So we're gonna do the video podcasting of it and load it to our Creative Birth Strategy website, but it won't be on Clubhouse. So 6:30 to 8:30. Very engaged individuals that are people that are coming. It's going to be a different type of event. There's not going to be a main speaker. It's going to be subject matter, and everybody's going to be very involved. So if you're in the greater Philadelphia area, look forward to seeing you there between 6:30 and 8:30. And that's one big announcement. Let me think of anything else that's coming up that's in my mindset. I will be at the Maryland Association of Realtor Expo, providing CE for real estate agents down in Ocean City this month. I'll be in Florida a couple times. I'm going to Think Realty this week coming up. I'll be also at another event called Simplified Investor down in Fort Lauderdale. I'll be speaking at as well in the following week to come after that. So very busy time of meeting and greeting people. Very aggressive month in networking. So a little update to the market so we get caught up on that. We talked about it yesterday. The job reports, I feel, were flat. I think the market is going to react in our favor on rate. I don't know people looking at the rate, oh, the rates are coming down, but nobody's really looking at the underlying figures where we're probably in a recessionary market, and and real estate is starting to flatten or decrease. You're seeing it heavily in Florida, which is a major indicator to the rest of the country. So I really keep an eye on this because job reports, unemployment numbers, job availability is going to be very interesting going into this presidential election. They're astroturfing the truth, as we know, which is always an interesting circumstance. But it could be a very favorable investor market this fall. Very favorable. I'm seeing it already. Submissions are up on the investor side. I don't see a heavy amount of discussion by loan officers that broker loans to our company that I work with that are heavy in the home ownership right now. I don't think we're going to have a heavy fall market, even if the rates drop. You still have a very inflated, arrogant real estate listing inventory right now, and it's being a little stubborn. So we'll see what happens there. So I just want to update that a little bit, and then we're going to dive into our discussion, right? So I put an article out based on our discussions every week on my LinkedIn, Facebook, Threads, Alignable, Instagram. They're all there for you, and then we go over it, obviously, in the podcast itself, so you could follow the written write-up of the article to this discussion this morning on my LinkedIn if you want to follow me there. Building a scalable business, real estate business. Building a scalable real estate business requires developing a foundation that can grow efficiently without exponentially increasing operational costs. It seems like when you get into the real estate business, you're always chasing that carrot. You're always trying to catch up with the debts that you created. So whether you're focused on residential, commercial, or mixed-use real estate, scalability comes from strategic planning, operational efficiency, and smart use of technology. And we're going to talk about some strategies how to scale the real estate business effectively, and then we're going to open it up to our moderators, of course. Define and standardize your core business processes. Operations, your acquisition criteria, meaning your buy box. If there's construction or renovation, develop templates to make sure that the numbers are as precise as they can be. Then number 2 is leveraging technology and automation. A CRM. We're actually in talks with a SEO company that has a customized CRM. We're probably going to be moving away from constant contact. It's not really up to par to what our needs are. We're probably going to be transitioning that over the next month, 30 days. I just sat down with an SEO company to work with Yardell on this. And it's going to have a lot more functionality with our database, our SMS, our email blasting. So I look forward to that transition. So we're always looking at how to advance our communications with our database. Project management software you're going to need property management software. You're going to need marketing automation. So like having a Yardell in your world from a website perspective and analytics perspective is very smart. Building a strong team and delegating, hiring specialized talent. We're talking about power team, and more power team. And then also empowering those leaders and then having training programs. So I'm a big fan of CE and providing CE for real estate agents. That's my database of people because they're the front line to a lot of real estate investors I work with, or they're actual real estate investors as well. So number 4, develop a scalable acquisition strategy, market analysis, bulk purchasing. Maybe you want to buy a portfolio of properties from a landlord or an opportunity that's out there, or off-market deals. Diversifying your portfolio, whether it's a residential and commercial mix. Just be careful on the commercial mixed-use blend. That's a deeper thought pattern. You got to understand your market there very much. Understanding that there's an opportunity for geographic expansion and different investment strategies. And then developing strategic partnerships, joint ventures, broker networks, institutional investors. Optimizing financial structuring, using leverage strategically in portfolio refinancing and diversifying funding sources. Implementing data-driven decision-making, market analysis and analytics, financial modeling, KPI tracking. We use a lot of KPI tracking at Lenmark, okay? And focus on branding and marketing, developing a unique value proposition, online presence, and content marketing. So, we have a great website. I have a great personal website, but I want to make some advancements in the video space, more like in the TikTok environment or YouTube environment or the Instagram video environment. So I sat down with this SEO company to complement with what Yurdell is doing. Yurdell will oversee and administrate it, but we're making advancements. Okay, so we're always looking to scale the brand. And then, look at licensing. Maybe get your real estate license, maybe get your title license, maybe get your, I don't know, your banking, your mortgage license, maybe getting your property and casualty insurance license or life insurance license. Accessibility to what your passion is extremely important. And building a scalable real estate business requires a combination of strategic planning and technological adoption, process standardization, and a strong team building by optimizing operations, leveraging technology, and exploring diverse markets. You can create a structure that grows efficiently while maintaining profitability and reducing risk. So these are some beginning thoughts to building a scalable real estate business strategy. Travis, good morning and welcome. Brief overview, who you are, what you do, and thoughts to the discussion, building a scalable real estate business.
Joe.
Yep.
Hey, good morning.
There he is.
Can you give me 10 minutes? I'm finishing my breakfast.
Okay, no problem. We don't want chewers on our podcast. I get it. It's all good. It's all good. So we'll go to Mr. Steve. Steve down below. Been trying to get you up here from yesterday. What's going on? Brief overview, who you are, what you do, and thoughts to building a scalable real estate business.
Yeah, thanks very much, Joe. Sorry the tech issues yesterday, but yeah. So I'm Steve Franco. I'm an investor, broker, real estate broker, landlord. A little bit of flipping up in northeastern PA with reihomepage.com. That's kind of like my information site. And basically, the scalability is absolutely key. And for me, always that means picking the right deals, being able to BRR with a partner like Joe to get the next deal going and keep your leveraging under control, but also really putting those systems in place. And I'm a little bit late to that party. I've played with a few different CRMs and a few different assistant packages and people, and I'm still trying to figure a little bit of that scalability out, but having that, as I teach my students, having that, if it's not worth $300 an hour, find someone to do it for you. And people say, oh my God, $300 an hour. Well, no, actually, if you do the math, that's actually what most of us need to target for making. And so finding that virtual assistant, making your CRM work for you. And if it doesn't work after a while, maybe it's not the software. Maybe you need to find a different package that fits what you're doing. And also being very cautious in what you invest in. Real quick, I have a lot of investors come to me and say, I don't need maintenance vacancy management pads because I manage myself by this, by that. Well, or I have enough income from other sources. Well, you don't want to own a job. You don't want to be the manager till you die. You don't want to be the maintenance guy till you die. And you might have enough income coming in, but if that new investment doesn't lift your boat, if it just breaks even or maybe is a little less than breaking even, not breaking even, but it doesn't lift the boat entirely, why do you want it? Everything you bring on board should make your operation better, smarter, faster, more profitable. And if you buy a property where you're having to self-manage because the numbers don't work, you're just taking time away from something else. So that's what I've learned and I'm struggling to continue to learn is what can I do to make myself as free for the next opportunity? How do I make that? And that's, for me, that's owning a brokerage firm, having agents handle a lot of the effort, so on and so forth. But the scalability comes down to its time because you can get more money, you can get more investors, you can get more business partners, but you only have the same 86,000 seconds a day.
Yeah.
And so you really have to say, how do I make this more efficient? What technology can I use? What people can I hire? What commission-based salespeople can I involve? And licensing, if you're a wholesaler in Pennsylvania, talk to me. The wholesale laws are changing. You need to be with a broker. You need to be licensed. My brokerage firm is here for that, but licensing can be key. I'm looking at my mortgage license as well. So that I don't know what else. I don't want to slow everyone else down.
No,
way, but that was
all good stuff.
It's all about your time and what technology and people you can bring on to make that more efficient.
Well, Steve, let's talk about this for a brief moment. I'm going to give you the stage of my SEO progression that I'm looking at. So if you look at the new video work that you'll see on Facebook Live and YouTube live right now, I have a backdrop, step and repeat. So we're making advances. We have T-shirts now. We have coffee cups. We're branding the podcast accordingly. We're getting ever so closely to that 100th podcast. So then I took a step back and I had a meeting with an SEO company that it's not taking anything away from what Yardell does in the background to this. It's only going to help him because he's one human being. So we talked about one. I have two very large Facebook groups that have 20,000 people in each one. I have a very large LinkedIn database of people that I'm connected to. They have a VA group that will scrape both of those and give me a very clean database of names, full names, emails, and phone numbers of the people that they could pull from each one. That's just something that I don't have the time to do. I don't have the knowledge base. I don't have the VA background in that, but they do, and they're going to do it. I'm going to pay them a sum, and it's going to be done. It just gets done. Then they're going to look at my Google and make sure all my Google connections and analytics are done correctly, right? So that's going to get done. Then we're going to look at this, and at the same time, we're looking at the CRM transition where we could do SMS, we could do the email. Right now, Constant Contact is very ancient. It was good for its time, but it's never caught up. So we're transitioning. So those are 4 boxes in my flow chart for my business strategy, right? The scale, right? To stay relevant. That's not even talking about what I want to do with YouTube and Instagram video and TikTok. I have a TikTok account. I've never touched it. I'm going to leverage it now because everything that's going to go in there is going to be fresh, okay? And it's going to be done correctly and matured, okay? So like what will that do for my business? It might increase it by 20%. It might not do anything, but it might bring a better brand to who I am, what the podcast is about, and people will better understand me as a lender. So like the same thing you as a real estate broker, you got to pick one thing at a time, one box at a time to scale, right? So give me 2 things that you want to get done over the next this next quarter, not the next 6 months, this quarter, meaning September to December. What's a couple things that you in your mind that you think could scale your business?
Well, we've just invested actually in 2 different CRM business operation platforms. I kind of have them running side by side. One is I'm using from a very well-known wholesale company, and one another product. So getting our technology in place, adding 4 full-time assistants, happen to be virtual assistants overseas, but one person is focused totally on getting me in front of wholesalers and podcasters and different teams that can expand me because of the changing laws in real estate in Pennsylvania. Basically, getting my social media and my SEO stuff, getting me more visible in those universes, and actually funny and scraping different groups. The exact same idea: going in and finding out who was there and which of the members should we be talking to, and yada yada yada. And the third thing for us right now is really getting a lot of it comes down to getting more organized with the technology. That's the first one. Getting more visible, getting more active in groups. That's why her whole job is, posting on my behalf with content that I approve, whatever, in different communities, getting me out there more. And the third thing is, for me, making those connections, making those inroads, not just to other investors and other people on our side of the table, but how can the sellers, I'm more of a seller person than a buyer person, how can the sellers and the property owners know that I'm around, know that not only can I help them sell their property, but I can buy their property directly as well. So getting visible and getting more, doing property owner workshops, doing things that will bring the people in the community in and say, hey, you've got a situation, you want to talk, whatever. So for me, it's about technology, visibility, and creating more options for people to reach me. $300 per year for one of my masterminds, yada yada. Mm-hmm. Different options for people to utilize me more than just, he buys and sells houses. That's my thing. And for the biggest thing, the 3-month deadline is February is when the law changes in Pennsylvania. I want everyone to know who I am in Pennsylvania before that.
Mm-hmm. Excellent, Steve. Thank you. So let's break down some types of real estate businesses that you might want to consider and look at. Being a real estate wholesaler, There's nothing wrong with that. If you really truly legitimatize what you're doing, I really suggest you being a licensed realtor in regards to that. But um, again, being a real estate wholesaler, there's nothing wrong with that as long as your numbers make sense and you make sense. Two, being a real estate flipper. Okay, you can flip properties. Nothing wrong with that. There's always an opportunity to flip opportunities in any market. Buy and hold, meaning the BRRRR strategy. Great opportunity to get in anytime. Real estate developing, new construction. We talked about it yesterday. I think it's a unique opportunity. It does take a little more uh, thought to that and building out a right power team. But yes, I think there's a unique opportunity there. Becoming a real estate agent and having accessibilities. It's never gotten in my way. I've been a licensed real estate agent since I was 18. I'm 54. It's never gotten in my way to buying any properties. I've always been full disclosure. I've always been very good with communication about who I am, what I do. So it's never gone in my way. So some steps to start the real estate business. Market research and niche selection. Pick a niche. Crafting a comprehensive business plan. Legal setup and compliance. How many investors do I meet? Hey, do you have an LLC to do this loan? Oh, no, I don't. I refer Bob Cheswick more than ever to my clients. Financing your business. Do you have unsecured business lines of credit set up? Building your brand and online presence. Having a website. Yordell Perkatech developed two fantastic websites. josephscarice.com, creativeburstrategies.com. And then networking and relation building. I'm at one different event or another 4 nights a week. We're having our own functions once a month, twice a month. Staying in front of people. All right. Relationship building, having deeper discussions with your power team and potential clients. And then you have to look at property acquisition. You got to look at effective marketing and sales techniques, managing properties and client relations, talking with property management companies, and growth and expansion. Amy, good morning and welcome. Brief overview, who you are, what you do, and thoughts to a discussion, building a scalable real estate business.
Good morning, Joe. I'm Amy Palvido. I'm a startup founder of a real estate technology company, Facilimax. I've been an entrepreneur for I've been an entrepreneur for 21 years. I was a general contractor, and then I was a real estate investor, and then I had a private equity real estate firm. And now I'm a tech founder, and I'm also the chair of the U.S. PropTech Council, which is also a startup, not a nonprofit, but it's a startup. Building a scalable real estate business. Well, I've been a real estate investor and been in the real estate world, but I've never been a realtor. So I can't speak to I can just speak to how to build a different kind of real estate business, but all the things you said, it's just running a business in general. So you have to put the pieces in place for yourself to grow, and there's going to be roles that obviously have to happen, right? That you talked about, right? So accounting, using technology to be able to respond to customers, having a CRM, doing all of those things that you need to do, the pieces of having a scalable business. But those functions are great, and you have to understand that. But when you're first starting out, I guess the biggest piece of advice I can give you is you have to work harder than you probably want to. A lot of people will kind of give up because they figure out that it's freaking hard. Being an entrepreneur and understanding, a lot of people give up, and it takes a very long time for anyone to kind of know who you are. Marketing and branding takes probably, nobody wants to hear this, but like 6 to 8 months, sometimes 9 months. You have to be consistent about your brand. You have to be consistently out there doing certain things. And once you start building your brand, you can't let off the gas pedal. So you have to constantly be producing content, doing different things, understanding so people kind of know who you are. But that's just one piece of the pie, right? Once you start getting business, then you got to have all their operational tools in place so you don't lose that business, because you want to keep your customers. I mean, that's the easiest way for you to scale, is by keeping your customers and doing repeat sales to your customers and those kinds of things. So that requires a different kind of operational processes and things like that. So if you're trying to scale and you're trying to use VAs or however you're going to get it done, if you can't afford to have, just hire people. But even if you do start hiring people, whether it's VA or setting up technology, what it requires to scale is that you truly define what your processes are. A lot of times when you're first starting out as an entrepreneur, it's just you and you're doing it, and you don't even think about how you do it or what you do or how you include everything. But when you start to scale, you have to write what your processes are down, document them in some sort of way. Like, this is how, it's everything. This is how we contact the customer. This is when this is how we want to, when we want to reply by, and this is what we say, and everything that you do, because as soon as you start bringing other people on, whether they're contract or VA or it's a technology, whatever it might be that you're going to bring on to do these tasks, you need to have those processes written down. You can bring them on and that's fine, but you won't scale because you're going to get stuck because you have to write those processes. So either way, you're going to end up doing it. So you might as well do it as you're doing them, or if you're creating processes, and just get into the habit of doing it, because it'll help you scale faster.
So Amy, you jumped down right after I talked about what I'm sitting down with an SEO company, and I'm a big fan of completion. I want to do one thing at a time to make sure it gets 100% completed, not 90%. So like, we're transitioning our CRM, we're reevaluating my Google Analytics, we're scraping a couple Facebook accounts, group accounts groups I have that have 20,000 people apiece. And then I'm having them scrape my LinkedIn profile for data. And that I'm not touching one video in the other areas where I want to get touched till those boxes are 100% done. Like I'm a big fan of completion. And I think the problem with a lot of people that are trying to build a scalable real estate business, and you interview people every week, is that people try to do too many things at the same time and nothing ever gets completed, right? Nothing gets to 100%. Is that something you see in the AI, in what you're doing now with your clients now? You're seeing them not getting to 100% completion on one of their projects. Is that what the case? Sometimes the problem is.
So a lot of times, it could be. Obviously, you're running a business, so you're always doing multiple things at once, and you're trying to get a bunch of stuff done. Anytime you adopt any sort of technology, a lot of people don't realize, how it, they don't really use all of the technology they could use. They don't get the full benefits out of it because they don't do what I'm talking about as far as understanding what your processes are, and really truly understanding your requirements, and actually taking the time to really understand what you want the technology to do. So you have the ability kind of up front to go, okay, I know I need a CRM, right? Like, you're just trying to solve a pain point, and you're like overwhelmed, and you need to get, you just need to get certain things done, and you're not getting them done, right? Using email and Excel is not working for you. Let's take this one example. Well, okay, that's great. You need a CRM, but what do you want that CRM to do? So, you have to list out, okay, I want it to do all of these different things. I want to automate all of these different processes, but you have to understand what they are and what they do. And then you might not pick until you go through this requirements, like planning of what you want this actually for you to do, and map out all your processes. You'll probably just pick the wrong, and I did this for years. I just picked the wrong stuff. I was just like trying to solve a pain point. And so then I I would just buy software left or right and switch softwares and do different things because I wasn't getting the stuff done because I didn't take the time to understand what it is I needed to do. So once you do the planning part, then obviously execution of that, Joe, then becomes easier, right? Because then you can get kind of everything done because you understand what it is that you actually want to do. I think it's a lot of people are just honestly, like when you're an entrepreneur, you're flying by the seat of your pants, but the hair is on fire. Sometimes it's upside down, right? You're just going, and you have to get crap done, and you don't have time to think. But if you just take what I call myself strategy Saturdays, right? If you just take a day, and then and you can't get everything done, but if you just consistently take a day out of your week or an afternoon out of your week and just think about your business and what it is you have to get done, is you have to like take that time and just work not in your business but on your business. What is it that I want to accomplish? And be consistent about that with your week and just spend a couple of afternoons on, okay, I want to automate this one process. How can I do that? And how can I get this better? Right? Whether it's LinkedIn or whatever it might be, what can I do? What do I have to pay? What is it? And then just truly be strategic on your business and just make it a part of your day, your weekly life, and just do that, and that will get you further. But I think they don't get anything done because they don't plan in the first place. So that's the short answer, but my long answer.
About half a nickel.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. So, and some thoughts to what Amy says. So we'll keep moving this. So we have some moderators here. Some thoughts is establishing relationships and being consistent and continuous, right? Desirability. And I think another big important thing is essential knowledge. You need to sit down with people that are smarter than you and be humble and see what can they bring to the table for your successes. And it will cost money. Nothing's for free, but I think there's a unique opportunity to have skin in the game and feel like there's going to be some completed opportunities to create inbound traffic for you to scale your business and whatever you're trying to accomplish. Travis, good morning and welcome. Brief overview, who you are, what you do, and thoughts to our discussion, building a scalable real estate business.
Hey, morning, Joe and everybody. I'm Travis. I have a real estate brokerage here in the Houston area. And we offer property management, of course, sales and leasing and all that other stuff. Plus, we do project management. So yeah, I like what I've heard so far, and you guys are really talking about some very important points, especially what Amy said about documenting your processes, because that's something that it should be done. If at some point you ever wanted to sell your business or do something basically to grow it and then be able to replicate it, you need to document all your processes so that anybody that you can bring in can take over whatever it is that you're doing or somebody else is doing. I'm assuming that really our target audience is those that are trying to scale their real estate portfolio. So I think one of the things that was very important, in the beginning when I first started investing, was when you hit that, this is before financing like you offer, Joe, was around. When you hit that Fannie Mae maximum of 10 mortgages, what are you going to do after that? And a lot of people, they'll go and they talk to whoever their bank is or some mortgage broker that doesn't know about, DSCR financing. And they're going to tell them, well, we only offer loans up to 4, like Chase and Wells Fargo and Citi. They only finance up to 4 properties. They're not even aware that the Fannie Mae maximum's 10. And then what do you do after you hit 10? So I think one of the key things is, how are you going to get your financing? And you could use regular conventional lenders up until you hit that maximum. And then what are you going to do? If you're buying single family homes, 1 to 4 units, But what are you going to do after you hit that 10? Are you going to start calling Joe? You know, you're going to call the guy that does DSCR financing or something. So if you're buying properties and you're using financing, you need to know what your lending strategy is going to be, who you're getting your money from. And just the other day, I saw something that on TikTok of all places that I thought was brilliant, where this guy, he's talking about how he buys his real estate and how he gets financing. He says, you know, I don't just go on their website and fill out a loan application. What I do is I put together a proposal, and then I print it out and I go to all these lenders and I hand it to them. And I say, hey, this is what I'm going to be buying. I'm looking for a loan for this. And I'm giving you an opportunity. And yeah, I'm going to go talk to these 10 other people, you know, so that they know that, look, we need to give this guy our best deal up front, or else he's just going to go to somebody else. And I thought that was very wise advice. So I think that's what I want to add to what everybody else has said. Oh, and one other thing is, you know, if you're going to start looking at software, most software now, right, it's software as a service, SaaS. And one of the things I found in my own business is because all these companies have moved to this model, you know, you don't actually own the data. And so try to get your data out of one of these software providers, right? Good luck with that. You know, I can tell you that just trying to get all the documents that we've uploaded and everything to our property management software, I don't know if I'll ever get it back. And there's not a good export process. So I think when you're looking at technology and what software you're going to use, one of the questions is, hey, how can I get my information out of your system when it's time for us to go to a different solution? And I think what you're going to find is most of them are going to tell you, well, we don't offer that. So, you know, it might be okay for now, but 5-10 years down the road, when you're ready to scale to something else, what are you going to do?
Yeah,
that's my thoughts, too.
Yeah, the reselling of data makes me a little nervous with this transition. I will run it parallel. I don't mind paying the extra expense because now that I don't trust people, there's definitely going to be a disclosure side with my data. I have a very healthy open rate. We're right now hovering around 52% open rate with about 32,000 people in our database, and we're always adding to that, Travis. But you know what? I have to scale the brand up a little bit, just because not because I feel like there's competition. I want to look relevant to the market. I want to stay. I see so many people age out in their business, and then they're lost. I met a loan officer this past week. He can't even find a position for himself because he just aged out of the market. He's no longer valued to what he did at one time, building a team that they don't need him anymore. And then I thank you. This past week, you introduced me to somebody, and we had a great discussion. We talked about different levels of loan to value. What's he going to do with the money? We're going to do a blanket loan scenario. I told him that I think rates are going to come down even more next week with the volatility with the job reports. I said, so whatever I send you now, know that this is going to be lower potentially in the next 3 to 5 business days, and it could be almost a half a point difference. Though we don't follow the 10-year treasury, we follow the 5-year treasury, but he appreciated the time of discussion, and I took 15 minutes with him. I think, and we're having at the mastermind on Monday night, Travis, we're actually having a discussion on how the NAR settlement has impacted real estate investors. And to me, it never has, because real estate investors are transparent. They're direct. There's no bullshit. It's all about transparency and communication. So the only problem I see with the NAR settlement is the first-time homebuyer realtors that are 10 years behind the time. I mean, what's your thoughts to that? And then we'll go to Justin.
Yeah, I don't know, man. The NAR settlement, I think that whole thing is a joke.
Yeah.
I mean, there's really nothing in the new agreements that we have our clients sign that wasn't there before. I think now we're just we're really shedding more light on it. It was always in our buyer rep agreements that, we're going to get paid X amount of commission regardless of who's paying us. It's going to come from you, the buyer, or we're going to try to get it from the seller. So, that was always there. Now, I don't know. They're putting more focus on it, but there's really nothing different. The big difference is now, we all have to ask the listing agent, hey, what are you offering for commission? Instead of it being published in the MLS, which is really, really stupid in my opinion. But I think it's a good opportunity for something to emerge to take the place of the MLS. I think these associations have really owned the market for way too long. When I first started getting into real estate, I was developing software, and I was like, why the heck are we having to do the things that we're doing to go through these realtors? Like, why is everything held by the MLS? Why is there not any competition for the MLS? Why is there not some other listing platform that we can use? So I think now is the time for something to start popping up. There'll be some technology that'll come up. Maybe Amy knows something about that. Maybe she's seen something. And I'm actually looking forward to it. The whole thing of us joining these realtor associations is really so we can get to the data and get to the listings. And if there's another way to do it, what's my advantage of being a member of the National Association of Realtors?
So
I don't know.
So Travis, I'm going to give you some predictions, and again, this is my own personal predictions, and then maybe we'll get some insight from Amy, and then we'll go to Justin. I feel that we're going to have one centralized MLS. I feel that the realtor associations are going to go by the wayside. We're not going to need them. They're not a necessary organization in any form or fashion. They're just a money grab. I think they'll just be a NAR or some form of NAR. Okay. I think AI is gonna streamline all title, right? Title is going to be all virtual, right? So it's going to eliminate a lot of the title environment, or it's going to go lawyer across the board. I feel every realtor can be a wholesaler, but not every wholesaler can be a realtor. So I think what Pennsylvania is doing is going to go across the country, as you're going to have to be a licensed realtor to also be a wholesaler. And then that's going to weed out a lot of the realtors that are just sitting back on open houses and broker opens and all this 25-year-old way of marketing. And I think you're going to have open listings, just like commercial listings, where in the residential space, you can cut deals with 14 different people. Whoever sells the house first gets their negotiated number. That's my personal opinion, and you know what opinions are like, but I'm just giving you my personal opinion.
Yeah, and we've always had that. So as far as like the open listing, it's the MLS that restricts your ability to post it. Mm-hmm. If you don't have an exclusive agreement with the seller, then you can't put it on the MLS.
Yeah.
So, but it was always an option. Like you could do an unexclusive agreement with a seller to list their property, but you can't put it on the MLS.
Yeah, I think open listings are only a couple of years away from the residential space. That's a personal opinion, but again, we're all here to agree to disagree. Is that fair to say? Right. Right. That's why I like about this podcast, because I think we agree to disagree, or agree to disagree to agree, or whatever it might be. But I think we're all going toward the same point. But I think there's I just think there's going to be a lot of change in the market itself. So let's go to Justin. We'll get final thoughts from Amy on everything once we get through Eddie and anybody else that raises their hand. Justin, good morning and welcome. Brief overview, who you are, what you do, and thoughts to building a scalable real estate business.
Hi, I'm Justin Jefferson. I'm here in the Southern Louisiana market. Been a licensed broker for about 6-7 years. Been an agent since 2011. Been an investor since 2016, fixing and flipping houses. I've also done some new construction, managed some stuff. And I'm currently on my 9-to-5 is I'm a project manager for critical home repair for Habitat for Humanity. So yeah, that's just a little bit of what a whole lot of different forms of real estate. But definitely some really good stuff said this morning. I believe Stephen brought up uh, really one of my main points that I think is the main focus based on the topic of the conversation, and that is to be intentional with everything you're doing. I think we brought up a lot of different ways to be intentional. My first piece of advice is to always have a game plan. If I'm learning about something or I'm stepping into a new language, that's one of the things that I'm doing. I'm going to talk to the professionals who I know have done it several times and maybe done it so much they're ready to move on to something else, right? I have a number of folks to get any kind of insight from you that you can. 9 times out of 10, they won't walk you through your entire process, but if you can get 10 to 15 minutes at a time, I'm sure you can get some gems. Going to your readers and staying up to date with your local market and the transition and things going on there. That's another way that you need to stay abreast. Those are all ways to cultivate ideas to distinguish yourself as a professional, and then you want to lean heavy into being consistent with your presentation as to who you are and what you have to provide. And so this is just, I think, the basics to scaling, right, any sort of business in this industry, because people kind of look at you, they say, oh, there's a new person over there, then they fill you out and they see, oh yeah, they're consistently showing up. And then they look for signs of success, like they look for other people that they have vetted and say, this is a successful person, and they see that person using you. And I think that's not the best way, right? But it is one good way. And in a place like where I'm at, Louisiana, that's one of the main ways people make their decision. It may not always, for me, I've had experience on good and bad with that. But I do find that when you establish yourself as a solid professional, at whatever level that may be, you may not be the most expensive guy. You might not be you might be the more on the more inexpensive side. But if your production is consistent and it's thorough, I think you'll have an easy time scaling your business as long as you're putting yourself in front of people. So, yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts for the topic this morning, Joe.
Justin, thank you very much. Justin has been a juggernaut, a pillar to our podcast since the very beginning. So always enjoy when Justin comes on and gives his insight and gives that Louisiana twang to it all. So it's very important, right, Justin?
Oh yeah, man. I'm always down for that, man.
and we send funny memes back and forth to one another time to time as well. So it's all good. So what I took from Justin is master your marketing, right? Master your marketing, automate or outsource your activities, grow your real estate network, establish a niche to build a successful real estate business. These are very important considerations to build a successful real estate business. Now, from an educational perspective in building a scalable real estate business, I advise everybody that's a licensed real estate agent or a licensed something in the real estate industry, become CE accredited in a subject that you can teach, whether to loan officers or real estate agents, wherever your niche is, and provide that type of insight. Now, I'm CE certified in like a half a dozen courses. I don't go after the realtor associations because they want $1,000 a shot. I go after the real estate investor groups that want me to teach my courses because I'm in the real estate investing space. I'm not looking to do owner-occupied loans. I'm very specific in my intentions. So I teach the CE independently because I don't want to be tied into an association. Most of the people that come to those association meetings are not investor friendly. They're just taking up time and looking for the free food. Where I'm teaching it at the real estate investor groups, it's very pulp-like. There's not a lot of juice. It's all pulp. It's very concentrated. So you got to pick your concentrated events, the type of education that you're trying to pull, the power team you're trying to create, your buy box, your brand, your social media presence, your commentaries on social media. Okay? I'm not a guy that likes to give talk about people in third party on any of my posts. So I don't particularly care for those type of people because I don't like to be associated with that type of environment. I believe in education, inspiration, motivation. Anybody that follows me on any of the social media plugs, it's always that consistently 7 days a week. These are things that I've created for myself. You don't have to follow that, but I'm just saying you got to follow a path to scale your business. Eddie, good morning and welcome. Brief overview who you are, what you do, and thoughts to the discussion building a scalable real estate business.
Hey, good morning, Joe. Thanks for inviting me up. My name is Eddie Gwynn. I'm a buy and hold real estate investor. Sorry, had a call come in.
It's all good.
Buy and hold real estate investor in the Kansas City market. I reside in Dallas, Texas, where I own a construction company. We do pavement repairs for in Texas, Oklahoma, and Louisiana. I guess specific to the topic this morning, process improvement. I got into this business, started buying a lot of properties, did not really have the processes in place, and have had to work this backwards. And I can just tell you, very difficult to own the properties in quantity and then have to work backwards to put the processes in place. So to Amy's point, documenting the things that we want to establish processes on, but then also identifying what those critical pieces are. She mentioned pieces, just identifying and helping us to scale more effectively. And also, Joe, to your point, you had mentioned operational efficiencies, identifying those areas in operations where we need to be more efficient, but then managing the pieces. I mean, it seems like things are constantly being added to our work scope, so things are having to be added and deleted as we go. So remaining adaptable to change, because a lot of that is happening within our industry. So those are my thoughts.
Eddie, how's the Kansas City market going for you?
Kansas City market is actually good. I tell you what, if you're looking at becoming a landlord in the Kansas, they just passed a new source of income law that went into effect on August the 1st, which requires that all landlords must now accept Section 8, regardless as to if you want it or not. You're no longer able to disqualify a person if they have cash jobs. I mean, it's a whole litany of things, but it's making me reconsider some things specifically to the city of Kansas City, Missouri. But, a lot of changes have happened. A lot of changes.
I mean, I think Kansas City is still a very good market. I think it's a good barrier of entry. I find it very relevant to Tulsa and Oklahoma City, in those type of up and coming, gritty markets. Is there still good debt service opportunities there and fixed the rents, or is it flattening a little bit right now? Is there an inventory issue?
Definitely inventory issue, but you're still able to find good deals there. We have slowed down on the single family side. We changed our buy box a little bit. We're looking for more smaller multifamily plays. A lot of new investors have made it, a little bit more competitive. The lending outlets that were once there are kind of drying up because a lot of new investors, not really. I know in my specific areas that I buy in, they bought into some properties, didn't realize the level of renovations that were going to be required, had to take quick dump sales, which have killed the values in certain neighborhoods that, myself and others have worked hard to get the values raised. So, it's like I said, it's just adapting to some of the newness, just market, but still definitely good deals out there to be found in Kansas City.
Well, if you have any influence at that RIA there, see if you can get me to speak there on asset-based lending fundamentals. It'd be a great favor. Much appreciated.
We'll look into it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, this is Travis. Got a question for Eddie about that whole Section 8 requirement. So, I mean, that sounds horrific when I hear something like that. But I guess my question is there any restrictions right now where you can screen people and screen them out based on credit or their income?
Based upon the new source of income guidelines, you cannot deny a person based upon credit. You can be fined up to $1,000 and spend 180 days in jail and lose your landlord license. And once again, this is specific to the city of Kansas City, Missouri, not in the surrounding areas. If you do not accept Section 8, you to go get your property registered with the Kansas City, Missouri Housing Authority. And unless the repairs are structural, your property, you are mandated to fix all required repairs to get that person in that unit if they have a Section 8 voucher.
Wow.
Okay, but all right. So let's say they have a 400 credit score. Is there a restriction? I know.
No, sir.
Is there? Hold on a second. Is there a restriction on how much you can charge for a deposit?
There hasn't been. Very slippery slope. If you have listed that unit, and you have advertised one particular deposit, and then you try to change it because of a person coming in that Section 8, you could be found liable of that. But if you market it as, a triple deposit, whatever the case is, and that's you have for everyone, whether it's market rate rent or Section 8, then you're fine. You can also raise your rent above the threshold of what Section 8 is. That's another loophole that landlords have also used.
Wow.
Interesting.
Well, welcome to the new Chinese Communist city of Kansas City. Welcome. So we'll get that out of the way. Anybody wants to taste the communism, fly into Kansas City. It's a brand new airport. And there's a Chinese flag waving on the top of the airport right now.
I'm sure there'll be a welcome Kamala Harris sign too.
No, let's not go there. Let's play careful. Let's be nice. Hey.
Yeah, Eddie, they passed that law back in Austin, Texas, back in, I think it was 2015. We had the same law about source of income, and it died on the vine because there were probably enough landlords that revolted at the city council.
Yeah.
I think it got reversed in 2018 maybe or something. It was in around for 3 years, so we learned to deal with it, but it was a nightmare to administer. It didn't make any sense at all. Like, same thing, you couldn't deny somebody on credit, and it was all this source of income stuff, and it didn't solve the problem. They're trying to solve the affordability problem, right? And these folks not having places to live, and so they're forcing a landlord to take somebody against some sort of logical criteria, and it didn't make any sense, because not only that, like, once you take somebody with Section 8, then you have to comply with everything that housing authority wants you to comply with. Not like if you're a bad landlord, but sometimes, look, I've had properties in 5 different housing authorities, and they're not, some of them aren't the brightest bulbs in the box. I mean, some of them are, and it's great, but you're having to deal with the extra, inspections and different things like that. And sometimes they're asking you to do stupid things, and you just, it just adds an extra headache that you might not want to deal with. I mean, obviously you meet code, your landlord, but yes, no, I've been there, Eddie, done that. That was fun, and have fun with that. So there you go.
Well, we got the landlording update to how to scale your business and how to stay very proficient with your market. So, is that a good way of bringing this back into the right lane, Amy? What do you think?
Girl, yes,
it's okay.
You just have to be cognizant of everything that's going on environmentally around you that's going to impact you on a large scale. Right?
Exactly.
You have to have your antennas up all the time.
Yeah, exactly. You got to know your market. You got to know you got to be competent. You got to have people to talk to about this. So it's very important. So let's keep moving this along. I appreciate all the insights. I want to keep this moving along. Cheryl, good morning and welcome. Brief overview, who you are, what you do, and thoughts to building a scalable real estate business. We're going to get back onto the subject.
Good morning, Joe. This is a great room this morning, and good morning to everyone else. My name is Cheryl Ware. I am a real estate agent here in the DC metro area. I've also invested myself in a property manager as well, among several other things we do, but we won't go into that. What's the rest of the question, Joe? forgot.
Building a scalable real estate business. And you're in a very interesting market. DC's kind of flattened out that corridor there. So I'd love to know how you're rescaling your business with the shifting of the market as we see it.
Okay, so it just so happens that I am actually the organizer for the DMV Wholesale Rehab Meetup.
Oh, okay.
So to, and actually two others, but one of them I let other moderators run, and the other is a commercial group, which I'm going to pull in commercial people to do that because I need help. But one way I thought was just to step back and look at everything, write it all out, and do pros and cons and all. Just be really analytical before I go for it. But I don't want to waste too much time in that. But for me, I've been doing more property management things, so I don't really feel the change. As for all these NAR rules, we were already doing them.
Yep.
So it really make a difference in our market. It's just rules.
Yeah. No, I agree. Listen, Cheryl, this is the thing. Real estate investor-driven realtors already get it. The uproar is the realtors that are not investor friendly. We've been always transparent. Property management companies have always been transparent. We've always been good communicators because we have to tell the truth and the whole truth, or it'll burn us down, our brand and what we do, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if you're not ethical and you don't have integrity, it's eventually going to bleed through the fabric. And you know, if you're gonna scale a real estate business not having integrity, you're gonna have a problem. I mean, listen, you're in a very tough market where management is highly concentrated. Okay, you need good management, or you're gonna get screwed as a landlord, right? So you got to be good at your game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, when do you have your events in DMV? I'd love to know.
Okay, I will. I wish I could get you there as a speaker, but I have to plan it all out. So,
well, listen, you have my number. You could always text me. I love to know the events ahead of time because, you know, I set up a very aggressive market. I'd love to just be an attendee. If I could be of any assistance in promoting your event in any way, let's do a video about it. Let's do a podcast or interview about it. However, I can help you grow your business out there in DMV.
Thank you so much. I do have a question for you guys, though.
Sure, go ahead.
So, my opinion from what I see, because here in the DC metro area, we have a HUD of associations that represent all types of different things, right? Mm-hmm. So the NAR represent realtors. It seems to me as though they just want to eliminate the whole association, which doesn't really make sense. Why not just improve it or fix it as opposed to eliminate it? There needs to be one hub where you can get information, regulations, etc., classes. Do you agree with that, Joe?
Well, I'm gonna give you my opinion. You know what opinions are like again. So I feel there's, and again, I want to keep this limited because we try to keep this to 60 to 90 minutes. So my opinion from a scalable business perspective, there's too many spoons in the soup. There's too many spoons. You gotta, there should be only a couple. I'm not saying that it's got to be a monopolization, but the industry has so many layers of associations that are in the way to just get stuff done. I know a lot of, like, here in the New Jersey market and Philadelphia market, I really don't know what these associations are doing for the realtors because they don't have any events. All the education now is online where you can get it on either CE online or you get independent people like myself teaching the CE. So there's no value at the associations other than lockbox or paying your association fee. They're dormant. I mean, if you go onto the events page on all these associations, at least in the New Jersey market or the Pennsylvania market, they're dead. All they want is money from their vendors because they don't survive without the vendor sponsorships. So, like, I did a test. I called every association in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware. All of them wanted $1,000 for me to teach a free CE course to their real estate agents. Like, where's the sense in that? Why would I give them all $1,000 each? Why would I do that when I could just teach the course with an investor group and they market my event. I give the CE away for free, and I just avoided spending $10,000. You tell me, Cheryl, does that which one makes more sense from a vendor perspective?
You doing it on your own.
Yeah, I mean, like, so what I'm saying is like these associations, I feel at this point are just money grabbing, and I think what they're doing is turning off a lot of the more experienced, like the more experienced realtor doesn't even need the association. They're kind of like working on their own engine block, and specifically from a property management perspective, my licenses are held under a property management company because I don't have to belong to any association. I don't want any affiliations. I don't want to be obligated to anybody more than I have to be. You know what I mean? That's just, to me, that doesn't help me scale my business. Does that make sense?
Okay. Joe, yes, it does make sense, but you are coming from the aspect of an investor.
Yeah.
For those that are realtors, they do need the education, guidance, collaboration, somewhere to turn to. And it just so happens that my experience so far in this area, yes, you're correct. There are many associations, right? But it does help because for example, I live in Frederick, Maryland.
Yeah.
The doc paperwork are really housed here if they exist at all yet, right? The ones for Carroll County will be different, Charles County. And that's because, throughout Maryland, it just changes.
Yeah.
Here, farms here, this, there. So in my experience, if you go to the association and you go in the right mindset, what you're supposed to go for, they can be helpful. We've had amazing events. We've had you meet people that you would never meet. There all the things that you mentioned that you don't get, we actually do get here in the DMV.
Oh,
I
well,
can say that and more.
I mean, listen. I'm going to the Maryland Association of Realtor Expo in Ocean City. Are you going to be there? Are you?
Just told them I'm going. Maybe I'll change my mind.
Well, I'll be there. I'll be there. But what I'm saying is, maybe my experience there will change my mindset to Maryland, because my mindset in New Jersey, PA, and Delaware so far, from an association perspective, I'd rate it a C minus. Now, again, that's just my personal. Am I taking a booth at NAR in Boston? Absolutely, because I want to scale my business. I want to be in front of licensed real estate agents. Am I going to the Delaware Association of Realtor Expo? Yes, of course. Am I going to Triple Play? Absolutely, in Atlantic City in December. I'm not knocking real estate agents. I think a lot of real estate agents don't know how to scale their real estate business, and they're depending on their associations. What they should really depend upon is a power team, independent from everything, not their broker office.
I agree that we don't know. I honestly have to say that for the longest time, I never thought about it until really Clubhouse. I just thought about being an agent, and that was it.
Yep, got it. Well,
I did my investments separately from being the realtor mindset. Probably, everything was sort of separated in and of itself.
Yep.
Never did I be together before,
yep.
But now I do. Now, another thing, Joe, can I just mention this?
Yep, and then we're gonna go to the final. Yep, right after that.
So for associations in general, most people don't know, but all associations have a fee and cost. I have a healthcare background. So I've worked in like Assisted Living Federation of America, right, which represented assisted living and long-term care. The association has fees to join. They have levels. So depending on what you pay, even determine your level. And it's not just healthcare, it's trade, you name it. We have all types of associations and they all have fees for their membership. So it's not something that's only regulated to real estate.
Yeah.
In all, probably fair because that's what associations do. Mm-hmm. They do need memberships. They do need the fees to survive and provide what they provide. So maybe because I live here in the DC metro area and we are a hub of associations because it's an amazing feel here if you just even get into association management and stay there. So I think my concept or way of looking at it may be different because the rest of, the U.S. doesn't have the luxury of having so many associations as we do.
Mm-hmm. Well, I appreciate that. And Cheryl, I will say that we agree to disagree on the associations, and that's okay. And we're going to stick to finishing up with building a scalable real estate business, if that's okay.
Okay, understand that, I think you'd have to be here with my experience to even, or our experience here to even get it. So I understand.
No problem. It's all good. So, building a scalable real estate business, there's some key systems that you need to keep in mind. Marketing, client generation, onboarding, offboarding, nurturing systems, rebranding, expanding. You want to expand in the right way. You want completion in the right way. If you would like to have a call to action discussion, whether you have an event or an upcoming discussion or a mastermind or some form of branding question that you might have in strategy or discussion or CRM for that matter, let's have a deep discussion on building that scalable real estate business. The first thing you have to be is consistent and continuous. It's like religion. You don't go to church once a week and think you're going to be religious for the rest of the week. You got to believe in that church every day of the week, right? I went to I never forget, I went to the Brooklyn Tabernacle in New York City, in New York, and the pastor made I remember this from when I was 20 years old. Consistency and continuity is the most important characteristics in anything, in life, in spiritual life, in physical life, in health life. If you're going to do something, you got to be good at it every day of the week, not one day a week. And that really stayed with me 34 years. Okay. And that's what we do here at the podcast, the Creative Birth Strategy House and Podcast. We're here every Saturday morning, every Sunday morning. Saturday mornings, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Every Sunday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We have all our uploads. We're at the 65th download podcast on our website. So we're at the 65th one on our website, creativebirthstrategies.com. You could go to my website, josephscarice.com. Follow up with your moderators. Like, why haven't you set up a meeting with Cheryl, Amy, Travis, Justin, Steve, and Eddie? Why? All these guys are in different areas, different regions in the country. Why not have a sit down with them and just have a Zoom call or a discussion how you can work together? All their markets are fantastic. So why not have a discussion? If you're not happy with your market, go expand your markets with these fine real estate professionals. Okay. Listen, it's been a great discussion this morning on scaling your business. And I want to thank our sponsors, Realty 411, MB Capital, Lenmark Capital, and of course, Mr. Yarrow Perkins of Perkatech. And I want to finish off with a fantastic quote that I posted this morning. And this is for everybody just to think about. I'm attracting love, success, and happiness in my life right now. Everybody have a great Sunday. Have a great week. We'll be back next week, Saturday morning, 8 a.m. and Sunday morning, 9:30 a.m. And I'll be ending the room in the next 30 seconds.